How many tennis coaches, clinics, YouTube videos have you seen talking about the flat serve? Probably a ton. Well, we're here to tell you they're selling you a myth. Because unless you're 6'6" and above, unless you're built like a literal skyscraper, spending time with the birds, the idea of hitting a true flat serve, zero spin, straight line trajectory, no upward lift is essentially impossible. Why? Well, because tennis has physics. Gravity exists, the net is 3 feet high in the middle, and you, yes you, standing there at 5'8", 5'10", maybe 6'1" on a good day, are not Ivo Karlovic. The entire concept of a flat serve for normal humans is just wrong. And today, we're breaking down the lie. We're talking biomechanics, geometry, height, and why the only people who can hit a true flat serve look like they should be playing center for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, before we get into it, you might as well hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and look out for all future videos from Hot Take Tennis. Thanks so much for watching, and let's get into it. So let's start with the simple truth. A flat serve still needs spin to go in the court. You physically cannot swing downward at a zero spin ball and expect it to magically dip into the box. The only way the ball clears the net and lands in the court is by hitting up on it first. And hitting up does what? Correct. It adds spin. It's unavoidable. The second your racket path travels upward even slightly, you're adding topspin or side spin. Congratulations, your flat serve isn't flat anymore. It's just a low spin serve, a flatter serve, so to speak, but not a flat serve. Now let's bring a little bit of geometry into this. So the serve box is only 21 feet long. You're standing behind the baseline. The net is 3 feet high at the center. If you hit a perfectly flat, perfectly horizontal serve, the margin for error is literally millimeters. And most players, they're contacting the ball around 8 to 9 feet in the air. Only a couple guys actually get contact points at 10 feet or higher. Players like Karlovic, Isner, Opelka, Mteshi, Perricard. These dudes aren't serving, they're dropping missiles from the International Space Station. But for everyone else, even the pros, your launch angle has to have some upward trajectory, just to clear the net with pace. If you hit truly flat, truly horizontal, you either hit the net or miss long by 12 feet. There's no in between. And here's what a lot of club players fail to learn and understand. Every high-level server swings up on the ball, even for flat serves. Federer, upward swing. Sampras, upward swing. Alcaraz, upward swing. Even Nick Kyrgios, who looks like he's chopping the ball downward, is actually launching up through contact. Slowing down their swings doesn't change the physics. They're adding things like topspin, side spin, or at a minimum, a safety rotation, or at a minimum, side spin, because the ball must dip to land in the serve box. Players call it flat because the spin is relatively low in comparison to like a second serve kick serve, so to speak, for example. But the ball is still spinning 1,000 plus RPM, and it's still plenty of rotation to bring the ball down. And now we have to address the giants of the sport because there are some minor exceptions. Well, major if we're talking about height. But when John Isner, for example, makes contact, the ball leaves his racket at number 1, a higher contact point, number 2, a steeper downward angle, and number 3, it just has a shorter time to bounce. He physically doesn't need as much spin as someone like Diego Schwartzman. His geometry gives him a cheat code, his ball can leave the racket on a downward line and still land in. And that's why Isner's true flat bombs are going 140 plus miles per hour with under 1,000 RPM and still dropping into the box. If a normal 6'1" player tries that, for example, someone like Novak or something, it lands in the back fence. Karlovic and Opelka fall into the same category. They don't hit flatter serves because they want to. They hit flatter serves because their height literally lets them. But if you're 5'10", 6 foot, even 6'3", a true flat serve just isn't happening. The geometry just doesn't work. Now, club players hear flat and assume swing straight down, no brushing, no spin. But the pros understand something else. Flat is more about intent and not so much how you're hitting the ball. It's what you're aiming for. You're hitting at a lower spin rate, a more penetrating trajectory, a faster ball, a smaller target, but you're still brushing up the back of it. If you actually swing through the back of the ball, like you're punching a volleyball, you get net, 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 frame, net, 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 deep, 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 over and over and over again. The idea of hit it flat is, it's a coaching simplification that just doesn't adhere to the rules of the game. Now, if you're under 6'5", which probably the majority of you are, stop chasing the flat serve. Instead, aim for a slightly upward swing path, a pronated racket face for natural side spin, a tall contact point with shoulder over shoulder rotation, a flat feel, but not a flat trajectory, and that feels important. Your serve will instantly gain margin, consistency, pace, and ironically, it'll probably look flatter to the naked eye. So, in short, no, flat serves don't exist. Not for you, not for us, not for 99.99999% of tennis players on the planet. Unless you're standing on stilts, we guess. Or if you're genetically engineered in a lab like Karlovic. You're adding spin whether you want to or not, and that's okay. In fact, it's how the best servers in the world do it. Go watch Roger Federer, for example. So stop trying to do something your height won't allow. Stop chasing a mythical, so to speak, flat serve. Focus on low spin, high margin, upward driven mechanics, and you'll serve better in 15 minutes than most players do in 5 years. See you next time.